This is the brand new Volvo EX30. It looks like a normal family SUV, but it's actually a serious performance car in disguise. It's even more powerful than the AMG GLA 45S and the Audi RSQ3. And it's even quicker than a Tesla Model Y Performance. But the best thing is that it's much cheaper than all of those cars. Has Volvo just changed the performance game forever? Well, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the new Volvo EX30. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow. Buy, sell,
Car Wow.
Before I talk about this car's performance, I need to tell you about the design. All modern Volvos look stylish and understated, but I reckon the new EX30 could be the best of the bunch. It looks like a real upmarket SUV, but it's absolutely tiny. It's less than 4.25 meters long, which means it's even shorter than a Volkswagen ID.3, but I think it looks much cooler. Volvo has resisted the urge to give it a huge fake grille or loads of shiny plastic. There's a diagonal line and a Volvo logo in the middle of the bumper, and that's it. It looks much more interesting than a Tesla Model Y, and I reckon it'll still look modern in 10 years' time, unlike the Tesla, which will probably still look like a bar of soap. Anyway, the Volvo's headlights are another cool feature. They're made of rectangular pixels like on the brand new EX90, and they get the same Thor's hammer design of that car as well. The EX30 also has typical Volvo design cues down its sides, like the black side skirts and horizontal lines through the doors. I also like the creases above the wheels that make the arches look bigger and wider than they actually really are. The EX30 looks smart from the back too. The dotted brake lights look just like the ones on Volvo's new EX90 flagship, and there aren't any fiddly blue bits telling you it's an electric car either. I mean, who needs that stuff anymore? Yes, BMW, I'm looking at you. But what do you think of the new Volvo EX30? Do you like it, or would you prefer something more German? I'll put a pinned comment below so you can vote on who you think makes the best looking electric SUVs. Volvo, BMW, Mercedes or Audi. The new Volvo EX30 might be small, but it packs a serious punch. There are a few different models to choose from, including a single motor car with rear-wheel drive that makes 272 horsepower. But the one I'm most excited about is the dual motor car with all-wheel drive. This one produces a whopping 428 horsepower. That means it's one of the most powerful Volvos ever made. And it's also more powerful than lots of dedicated performance cars. I'm talking about Mercedes AMGs and Audi RS models. This new Volvo has 7 more horsepower than an AMG A45S and GLA 45S, and it has 28 more horsepower than you get with an Audi RS3 or RSQ3. But power is only half of the story. This new Volvo has absolutely loads of torque. It cranks out 543 Newton meters, which is 43 Newton meters more than you get in the A45S and GLA 45S. And it's 63 Newton meters more than you get in an Audi RS3 and RSQ3. It's only 17 Newton meters less than you get from the 5.2 litre naturally aspirated V10 in an Audi R8. That's mighty impressive for a small electric SUV. So what does this mean in terms of performance? Well, Volvo says the standard EX30 with one motor accelerates from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 5.4 seconds. The extended range version with the same motor is a bit quicker. It takes 5.1 seconds to go from 0 to 60 miles an hour. But what about the dual motor car, the one that's most interesting? Well, Volvo says that one will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 3.4 seconds. That means it's the quickest accelerating car Volvo has ever made. And it's even quicker than a Polestar 2 long range with dual motors and the optional performance pack. That car only does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.0 seconds. Isn't that a bit embarrassing for Polestar? Especially since it used to be Volvo's in-house tuning performance department. What's even more impressive is that the EX30 accelerates quicker than a Tesla Model Y Performance. That car does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds, a tenth of a second slower than this new Volvo. However, if you want to see who makes the fastest electric SUVs on sale, click on the pop-out banner or follow the link in the description below to watch my EV SUV drag race. Volvo hasn't been too outlandish with the EX30's cabin. There's a portrait touchscreen in the middle, which I'll tell you about in a bit, and you get a vertical air vent on either side of it. That's pretty similar to what you get in an XC40 or XC60, but the EX30 does away with any sort of clear detail at all. It's as though Marie Kondo snuck inside Volvo's design studio and erased half of their work. There aren't any fiddly details anywhere, and the whole dashboard is made up of curved panels and simple shapes. And even the gear selector has been moved onto a stalk behind the steering wheel. Despite all this though, you can customize the interior. Well, a bit. Volvo gives you the option of 4 different colour and trim combinations that are all made using different recycled materials. Of course they are. I'm going to tell you more about those as well in a bit, and some of them are a little bit weird. This new Volvo is actually based on the Smart #1 SUV. Smart and Volvo are part-owned by Chinese firm Geely, so they decided to share parts to help keep production costs down, and of course, profits up. This means the EX30 has the same motors as the Smart, and the dual motor version has the same power as the top specification Smart #1 Brabus. These two cars don't share their batteries though. All versions of the Smart get a battery with 62 kilowatt hours of usable capacity. But the Volvo is a bit more complicated. Entry-level cars have a usable battery capacity of 49 kilowatt hours, but all of the versions get 64 kilowatt hours. The smaller battery also uses lithium iron phosphate cells, which are cheaper to make than conventional cells. Volvo says this sort of battery is best for people who usually do short trips around town. But what if you need to do longer journeys? How much range do these batteries give you? Well, Volvo says entry-level cars can manage 214 miles on a full charge. That's about 70 miles less than you get from an entry-level Tesla Model Y. Go for an EX30 with a bigger battery and you get 298 miles of range, regardless of whether you pick a single or dual motor version. The range is the same. Granted, it's a bit less than the 319 miles you get from a Tesla Model Y Performance, but it's still very impressive, especially considering the EX30 is much cheaper than that car. In fact, it's so much cheaper that you should compare it with something like a Volkswagen ID.3. Pro versions of the ID.3 have 266 miles of range, and the Pro S 347 miles of range. So, a little bit more than the Volvo then. Mind you, at least the infotainment system in the Volvo should be better than the terrible system fitted to the Volkswagen. Volvo has a thing for portrait infotainment screens in its cars, and the new EX30 is no different. You get a 12-inch touchscreen in the middle of the dashboard running the latest Google-based operating system. Unfortunately, there aren't any physical buttons for any of the screen's features. You don't even get a volume knob, like in the latest XC60. I quite like that car's system, but I don't think it's as good as the latest touchscreens you get from Mercedes and BMW. The EX30 will come with a few upgrades to make it even better than Volvo's current systems though. For example, you get wireless Apple CarPlay, which you don't get with the XC60. The EX30 also has a 5G wireless internet connection, so it can update its own software automatically. This means you won't have to go back to the dealership to get the very latest features. The new EX30 is the smallest car Volvo makes, but it has plenty of features designed to make sure it's practical and easy to live with. One cool feature is a size guide in the boot. This will help you work out exactly how much flat pack furniture you can take home from IKEA in one go. Volvo has also moved all the speakers from the doors into a special full-width soundbar on the dashboard. This frees up extra space in the doors for bigger cubby holes. There isn't a glove box in the dashboard though. Instead, Volvo has made a central storage box between the front seats. There's also a removable storage box in the back as well. Volvo hasn't actually confirmed how big the car's boot is though. However, considering how small the outside of the car is, it'll probably be noticeably smaller than the boot on the XC40. However, on the flip side, Volvo says the new EX30 will have a smaller carbon footprint than any other Volvo you can buy. And part of this is to do with how much recycled material the car is made out of. The car's chassis and body are made using 25% recycled aluminium and 17% recycled steel. There's loads of recycled plastic and other weird materials in the cabin as well. You can get a dashboard made from linseed plants and seats trimmed with wool and recycled polyester instead of leather. Even the window frames are made from ground-up plastic waste, and the carpets from old plastic bottles. But the weirdest materials are on the door trims. These are made using recycled denim jeans. I hope Volvo washed these first. Finally then, we come to the price. The Volvo EX30 is available to pre-order now. Entry-level cars cost from just under £34,000. And Volvo plans to launch an even more affordable version later on that'll cost from around £31,000. That's about £6,000 less than the cheapest Volkswagen ID.3 you can currently buy. Meanwhile, the long-range EX30 with rear-wheel drive and a bigger battery will set you back just over £38,500. But the quickest dual-motor version is only slightly more expensive. It costs just under £41,000. That's almost £1,900 less than a top specification Volkswagen ID.3 Pro S. And that car only has 204 horsepower. That's less than half the power you get with the Volvo. But what if you want a small SUV with the same amount of power as the EX30? Well, you'll have to look at some internal combustion engine cars, like the Mercedes AMG GLA 45S or the Audi RSQ3. However, while these cars aren't as quick as the Volvo when it comes to acceleration, they both cost at least £15,000 more. Even a Tesla Model Y Performance can't accelerate as quickly as the EX30, and that car costs £60,000. Somehow it seems that Volvo has just built the high-performance SUV bargain of the century, and I can't wait to review it. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you click on those windows there, you can watch some more videos, and if you click on that box there, you can go to CarWow to see how much money you can save on your next car. Thanks for watching.